It's a rather chipper 10-degree morning, so a little bit of a kick in the... Actually, I'm really feeling my feet. I had these Converse that were like the deluxe version, so leather, waterproof, like thicker soles, like beefier laces, and like insulated too. Like they were like just the winter boot equivalent, and they're freaking sweet. I think I still have it somewhere. I don't know where that pair went, but it's not something that they sell all the time. So I'm like, I'm stuck with the canvas, and it's not gonna work. I gotta change it up. I don't want to wear like straight up boots, because after the lift, when I do cardio, I don't want to be pedaling in boots and like chafe my ankles. I mean, I guess if I wore if I wore long sleeve socks, if I wore long socks, I guess that would be kind of fine. But yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll just leave a pair of Converse in the gym as the dedicated only gym shoes, and then rock boots on the way in or out. That might work. Or I could just pull a Bumstead and train no shoes, and then just come in whatever the hell you want. I don't know about that. Not that, I think I'm going to drop a plate on my toe or anything, or that wearing any kind of like tennis shoe is going to protect you from that anyway. Unless you're coming into the gym with steel toes, you may as well be barefoot. That's probably one of the worst things I've ever seen, is the videos of the guys deadlifting sumo, and then they've got their feet out, like they're touching the plates as they're pulling, and then it gets fucking crimped. Oh my god. I had a little version of that when I was in middle school. 12-year-old Sam had to flip over like 100-pound science table, and it completely smashed the end of my big toe. Like the x-ray just showed it completely shattered. But there's nothing you can do about it, so I just had to like thug it out and limp around. I had a boot for a while, but the boot wasn't going to do anything. But that's a story for a different time. But plan for today with back. My lats are still feeling it from the last back day when I was doing those like kind of pulling inward rows. Like I really hit them. Like I haven't hit my lats and like my teres major or whatever in that way, like specifically, for a while. So it's kind of like, doing a movement you haven't done for a while. It might feel a little better. It might just connect a little better. So my traps are feeling fresh though. And I don't, I do throw shoulders in more as I'm dieting, because I want to hit them to maintain them. But in an off season, I don't really need to hit them to grow them. So I think today might be a little bit of a really dedicated upper back shoulder day. A little kind of like top of the back of the torso kind of day. I'll think about it for a second. But it'll definitely be some variation of at least upper back focus rows. So maybe some seated cable, maybe some T-bar, just kind of see what happens. And then I might throw a little bit of shoulders in as well. But low stakes, And this isn't like a cool thing to say. Like I don't feel cool saying this. But dieting, the lifts do kind of get a little bit less throttle. I'm not saying I'm trying to take it easy by any means. But it just, the effort... And I don't mean effort like, I just mean like the overall weight and workload and heft of an off-season lift is what I really like. Like that's my bar as a really fun, cool-ass lift. Dieting, the hard part has changed. Now instead of trying to train as hard as possible and, eat as much food as possible, well now it's, I gotta back off, instead of having a big-ass bowl of, Cinnamon Toast Crunch with 8 eggs, well, now I'm going to have, like this morning, 2 rice cakes, 80 grams of Greek yogurt, some fruit, frozen berries, assorted, and then a little bit of sugar-free maple syrup drizzled on top. That's a pretty decent meal, that's for sure. And if I threw a scoop of, I guess I'll have to see. that's probably the coolest thing about all the raw stuff. Like if you go on I think it's rawnutrition.com. I'll have the links down there. But everything has like every flavor that you could freaking think of. And I haven't done this for a little while, but I do have a couple of protein powder based dieting sort of tricks that I throw in every so often. Like, I had this, well, I guess I don't want to give away all the secrets, but there's this one, the basic gist is 2 scoops protein powder, or the ratio is a scoop of protein powder, 2 egg whites, a little bit of baking powder. Get that thing, ninja bulleted up, totally blended, and then, obviously, lightly oil your pan. Protein pancake. And when it's fresh, it actually comes out really well. Once it cools down and you leave it in the fridge, it just kind of turns into like a little rubbery, like it's still fine, but it's not something you'd want to prep. Like that's a meal where I actually want to eat it in the moment that I made it. But I guess I'll have to make my own kind of bulk order and get every different powder to try every different variation. But yeah, if in terms of the diet, now is about time to take it up a notch. So honestly, in your regular training, in an off season, in whatever, you should have moments where you say, all right, let's shift up a gear. All right, what have I been doing? I got to take it up a notch. In terms of training, when I was younger, lifting in the parents' basement gym, I had probably 3 of those moments. Probably 3 every couple of months, or every 6 months or so, where I'd come in, and I remember one was I had just like four, I don't know, maybe 3 sets into a chest day. My head's not in it. I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but I remember thinking to myself, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm here to bring it. I'm not here to freaking and that was kind of a moment of like reflection. I'm not doing as much as I want to do. Raise the bar. Or if you have a really good lift, I've had these before where everything works out in my favor. I'm talking rest, food, recovery, everything. And I'm like, dude, that was the best lift I've ever had. I want every lift to be like that. I might have been riding here. Now this is my bar. This is where I want to reach, and anything less than that, I don't want to say is a disappointment, but is at least like less than I know that I'm capable of. What the hell is that sound? That's like construction. But with dieting, the fact that you have to constantly adjust, constantly increase cardio, decrease calories, it demands more over time. That's probably the hardest thing about dieting. For one, is the fact that it's hard and it takes a while. And then the second angle, if someone even does stick to it and go for it, is it gets progressively harder the longer you do it. In 2 months, I'm going to be eating a few hundred calories less than I'm eating right now to continue getting leaner. I'm eating like 500 or 600 calories less than I was 2 months ago, but it's working out. Morning weight this morning, 237. Right, so we're getting there. I want to see about a pound a week over these next just about 12 weeks, a little bit less, 11 and a half or so. And that'll put me just about where I want to be for my size and kind of stature. But it's not it almost doesn't really get easier the whole time. I just feel like I get better at like sticking to the diet, because obviously the closer I get to my goal, the more real it's becoming, and then the easier it is to say, all right, well, shit, man, I already came this far. Why would I blow it now? Like I'm not it gets easier not to have cheat days the longer that I diet, because it's like, well, shit, I'm already more than halfway across this river. Why the hell would I turn back? It's going to be easier to make it to the other side if you kind of catch what I'm saying. But yeah, I think nothing else to say there. Let's just go get this lift started. This will be good. I don't know if there is an upper back focused row, maybe not better, but more isolated than this. Like, something about the fact that the weight's further out than the handles. I feel like I'm doing pretty much just a huge shrug, but instead of shrugging up, I'm kind of shrugging in and back. So I'm feeling obviously a ton of traps, but not just up here, mid, like low traps. Probably the best example of that's going to be Dorian Yates. If you ever see him do like a lat spread or anything from the back, his traps go all the way down in the middle of his fucking spine. Like it's just nuts. So that's what I want to feel here. Mark spin here. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Two. Yeah. Yeah. Poof. Two. Okay. One more of those. Come on. Yeah. Two. Yeah. One more of these, and I'll move on to something else. 3 plates is just about right. It's not too heavy, not too light. Yeah. 2, 3, yeah. Poof. 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 Okay. Come on. Come on. Oh my God. These are a prototype. I mean, obviously it's not like fucking tech, but these are the leather straps we're working on. But these ones are like too sticky. They hold on too fucking tight. Let's move on. Let's get a heavy pull down. 2, 3, poo, poo, a little lighter for this next one. The stack might be pushing in. Two. Okay. All right, I think let's do a pullover. And that'll be all. Old 7-setter. That's cool with me. This will be a good finisher. So, it's kind of just a preference thing, but sometimes I like to do underhand pullovers with the cable instead of overhand. It just feels a little bit different, you know. I used to really like underhand barbell rows. Not as much now. Nothing special or unspecial about it. It's just different. So if you're always doing overhand or if you're always doing the rope, maybe throw a single arm underhand and see if you like it. There we go. Yeah. 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 Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Let's see how we're looking. All right, sorry about that buzzing sound. With these old cameras, I think there's like a fan that's got some shit in it or something. But either way, that was quite the fucking back pump. And I didn't even come in thinking it was gonna be sweet. I thought I was gonna throw in some shoulders to make up for it. No, man, that was good. So, I wish I had like the Athlean X Sharpie so I could like highlight what I'm talking about. But when I'm doing those rows in the beginning, like the bent over kind of, I'm not really pulling down. It's more of like a pull up here. Like normally, if I'm trying to do a very complete row, I'm gonna do semi-wide grip and then pull down a little bit, elbows more tucked in, and kind of just get a little everything, little traps, little lats, little rhomboid. But with that pull or with that row, just the angle of it too, instead of here, everything flexing, it's more of like here. It's a lot of this. So I'm not lean enough to really show it off yet. But see that little like gap, kind of the top of the Christmas tree? So those are the bottom of my traps. Like it goes all the way up to that little divot from the top all the way down to, well, I can't even reach. So when you're thinking traps, don't always just think, okay, shrugs up here. I think you need a little more of this as well, you know. So if you want to do, they call it, I think, Kelso rows or Kelso shrugs or whatever, or you get on a row machine and you just do this, I can see it a little, but I'd rather do a full-on rep and actually get like a full everything. But let's see how we're looking. So this section, I want to get wild. This little like lowest bit of spinal erector up, I want this to be as Christmassy as freaking possible. So let's see how we're looking today. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Well, I'd call that a back pump if I've ever freaking had one. And yeah, I think I'm definitely going to stick to the morning workouts just because, well, when I get to pose down in the mirror, I've got a basically empty stomach, you know, like a quarter or like a third cup of Greek yogurt and some fruit did not make me feel like I'm walking around like freaking packed to the gills in here. And then it just makes the pose down like that much freaking cooler. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, that's the lift complete. Now I'm going to go probably play on my phone for 10 minutes, watch another episode of Landman Season 2, and then by the time I'm done with that, my 60 minutes on the bike should be freaking over. I've been doing shirtless, but then my shirt ends up being, well, there's no getting around it. An hour of cardio just leaves you like a sweaty mess what I've been doing is since it's so cold, I already wear a different pair of pants on top of these sweats so that I'm warm in the car. I think I got to put at least like a makeshift shower in the corner just so I don't, have to come home completely soaked. But that's for another day. I'll see you in the car once I'm done pedaling. Yeah, this thing is freaking whirring. I don't know if you can hear that shit. I'll see if I can fix it. There's always something with these old things. But I had, speaking of freaking mishaps, the cardio bike pedal busted. I didn't get like an industrial, commercial grade bike, but I didn't think it would freaking break after, I didn't even get like 20 hours on it, maybe close to 20. But still, that was not enough time for that thing to break. I'm sure I can get like a replacement part, but that kind of sucks, And now I went back to the Y and did bike on one of the Pre-Core or something cardio bikes, and the thing was like way better. So I think I made a bad pick. I think I'm gonna see if I can get some freaking cheddar back and then get a better cardio bike, So that's a behind the scenes. That's a scanning. Honestly, I might just have to look for like a Craigslist one. In my mind, I'm like, okay, let's get a new one. But really, I bet it'd be better off. I might have to ask my buddies with a truck or something to come help me pick it up. But I think an older, kind of more robust bike might do me good. And I could tell something was going on because the freaking pedal was getting wobbly. Not freaking cool. But no, that was a pretty damn good back day, followed by 23 minutes of cardio in my gym, and then 38 minutes of cardio at the Y with a little bit of a break in between. So, I think it still kind of clocks to total hours. And speaking of hours, I've been getting a couple of comments basically just asking, like, what am I counting? Like, am I counting steps? Am I just doing hours of cardio? Like, when it comes to steps, I think it's legit. I think if you're tracking your steps and making sure that you hit a certain number every day, that actually is a solid method of kind of just measuring your overall energy output. But I think there's something special about dedicated cardio. I think there is something about actually sitting, pedaling, getting your heart rate up to that, probably, I think zone, I don't know about the zones, but I'm pretty sure I just read that zone 3 is basically low intensity, steady state cardio, where you're kind of hovering around like 70% max heart rate. If I'm pedaling, it's hard for me to get my heart rate up to like 150. Like if I really try to do an all-out sprint, I bet I could get it up to like maybe 170. So by hovering at like 130 or like 135-ish, I think that puts me at a good number, because that's up enough that I can feel it, but it's not so wild that I can't keep going. When it comes to a workout, it's almost the exact opposite of the cardio. Because when I'm working out, I feel like I'm trying to condense my effort as tightly as possible into each set that I do. But when I'm doing my cardio, for a 30 minutes, hour, whatever period of time, I'm trying to evenly distribute that effort throughout the entire session and then just maintain like a baseline heart rate, Like when I'm working out, I'm going to try to find a really good, or I'd like to see like a really good like heart rate, oxygen, everything meter, but I don't like having it on my wrist. Like even just like the nylon Apple Watch strap on the wrist during a workout, like I just don't love it. I'd rather have how I don't know what the machines are called, but it's essentially like the insulin release or the automatic insulin release for anybody who's diabetic, where it's just like stuck on them. Like I would want something just, maybe stuck on my side right here that I could leave, and it would just read all sorts of freaking metrics. Not that it's like if you're not tracking your heart rate every hour of every day, that you're not going to be able to, be on track for what your goals are. But it is kind of cool. It's just kind of, it's cool seeing your heart rate. Like watching it go up and down, like during a leg day. I mean, I've had leg days where I had the Apple Watch on, and I saw that my heart rate was like 180 right after like a crazy set of squats. Like that was very brief. So actually, that's probably I'd probably count that as my 100%. Like that's the biggest or like fastest BPM that I've ever seen for my own kind of workouts. And in it was like a 5.5 plate set of Smith squats. So I'm sure it was probably at least close to right, But, who knows for freaking sure. So by keeping my heart rate up at that 130 mark, I think that's kind of the sweet spot. But you know what? After doing the cardio in the gym instead of just doing it on my own, I think I got to do the cardio in public gyms instead. I like the solidarity, especially dieting when workouts get a little bit harder and trickier. It's definitely, I think it's going to help me this prep by having my own kind of private space the whole time. But the cardio, shit, man, 2 hours of cardio a day, like it gets lonely, and not it gets repetitive more so. Like just sitting, pedaling. I think even if I hit a workout at my gym, I think I'm gonna do cardio later. Not, like just a few minutes later and go somewhere else, If that sounds crazy, well, shit, man, that's the deal. But we'll see. And then it gets to change it up, too. Like, I'm kind of just spoiling myself by going to the Sam gym every time. But I still like bouncing around. But the more that I diet, consistency is my friend. Like, the more repetitive and just controlled all the variables are in my training and my day and my diet and my whatever, the better. It just makes it easier to stay on track for me. So I think the contrasting opinions of that would be having a little bit of variability makes it fun and makes it a little more interesting. So maybe that's something I got to keep an eye on too. But we'll see. We will freaking see. So yeah, I think nothing else to say. I'm gonna go home, cook about 5 pounds of ground beef, throw it into a salad bowl after I strain the SHIT out of it with a bunch of paper towels to make sure I get as much fat out as possible, and then have a deconstructed burger. I'm talking ground beef, mustard, low-fat mayonnaise, ketchup, sugar-free, and then some relish. I meant to get white onions. I definitely should have. Throwing some of those chopped in would actually be perfect. And the fact that I haven't done that yet is kind of foolish. I'm not doing the keto buns, like the carb smart bread is, and I think they're just a little bit too much right now. Like in a more casual dieting sense, because I'm sure if you've actually dieted, you felt this. If you find something that is like kind of a hack or like a trick where it's like, oh wow, this tastes so good and it's so little calories, it ends up like just kind of drawing you in to eat a bunch of it, and then the negative shows up. Like if I only had one keto bun at a time and just had like a low carb turkey sandwich with like the Costco turkey breast, so it's actually solid protein, well, I'm gonna tell myself, shit, I better eat one more. I want to eat one, and then I'm at like 50 grams of fiber from the weird like lab made carb buns, and then my stomach is like just all twisted around. So I think that's the theme of this prep. It's just simpler the better, just straight up real foods, except for the low calorie stuff, like the sugar-free syrups and the diet soda, like all the aspartame, liquid-based things that are sugar-free or use like sugar alternatives or sweeteners. Those never really mess with my stomach. It's when these guys try to put it into food form that it gets a little bit tricky. Not that I'm sitting here like drinking half a thing of sugar-free maple syrup at once, but even mixing some into some Greek yogurt with some frozen fruit, and then using a rice cake as kind of a dip in moderation, freaking perfect. But yeah, so to kind of give a little bit of a recap of what my carb intake has all been from the last few weeks. Rice cakes, oatmeal, the instant variety, so it's got a little extra sugar, sure. Ooh. You know what, maybe I should be doing? Maybe I should be doing regular oatmeal, sweetened with like some stevia or something, or some maple-free sugar. All right, I might have to up my oatmeal game just to lower my sugar intake. It's probably about time to do that too. But rice cakes, oatmeal, carbs that come from Greek yogurt, which is about 8 grams of carbs for every 17 grams of protein, and just miscellaneous. You know, sugar-free barbecue sauce still has some carbs. The low-sugar ketchup has some carbs. The no-sugar maple syrup and like the no-sugar Hershey like chocolate syrup, that has carbs too. You're not totally escaping. You're just eating a little bit less. And those all add up, you know. But yeah, that's the primaries. And then protein, ground beef, steaks, turkey, tuna, canned chicken. Not a ton of protein shakes. On occasion, you know. I do, if I had to make a recommendation to you, right, if you're looking at those raw RTD protein drinks, right, we got chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. Or I think there's vanilla. I gotta check and make sure. But I'd say you're not gonna go wrong with the chocolate out of all of them. And I've had, man, I feel like at this point I've kind of had them all. So, how about you be the judge? You know, you be the judge of that. But yeah, plan now. Go get some ground beef all cooked up. Then get ready for another session of cardio later tonight. So I think I'll yeah. So that means I'll see you tomorrow for some arms, and I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm not just gonna hide away in the cave. Maybe I'll hit a Planet Fitness arm day. It's been a while since I've been in there. Get the lung alarm to go off. But yeah, that's all I got. So I'll freaking see you tomorrow.